हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, वेलकम टू आवर यूट्यूब चैनल एग्जाम स्टडी पॉइंट। आज हम डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं अबाउट द जनरल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ एल्गी। आज जो हम डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं ये एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, जो कि हम आप लोगों का एग्जाम है लाइक सी सेट, जो कॉमन यूनिवर्सिटी एंट्रेंस टेस्ट है, जो लोग पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन करने चाह रहे हैं, या सीपेट जो उड़ीसा में हो रहा है, कॉमन पीजी एंट्रेंस टेस्ट, जो लोग पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन उड़ीसा के डिफरेंट यूनिवर्सिटी में करना चाह रहे हैं, उसके लिए थोड़ा सा इम्पोर्टेंट है। जो लोग बॉटनी बैकग्राउंड से है उनके लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है, क्योंकि उनका पहला यूनिट का जो चैप्टर है एल्गी एंड माइक्रोबायोलॉजी, जो एल्गी का जनरल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है, आज उसके बारे में हम लोग डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं। And you all know that the study of algae is known as algology or phycology. Here, algology or phycology a Greek word है, which means the study of algae. And most of the algae are eukaryotic in nature. Most of the algae are eukaryotic in nature. We know that some algae actually साइंटिस्ट जो साइंटिस्ट से क्लासिफिकेशन करते हैं, उन लोगों ने algae को दो तरीके से डिवाइड किया है, यूकैरियोटिक algae, प्रोकैरियोटिक algae, and they mainly considered blue green algae जो cyanobacteria है, they considered that blue green algae as prokaryotic algae, but according to some other scientists they are classified that cyanobacteria or blue green algae as a photosynthetic microbes. So mainly we can consider here algae are eukaryotic in nature. And another property is their algae are unicellular and multicellular also. We can find unicellular algae in our environment, and we can find multicellular algae in our environment also. And the most important point here is most of the algae are aquatic, thallophytic. Why we say that algae are aquatic? Algae जो है ना, that is in habitat, they are both aquatic and terrestrial. Both aquatic and terrestrial. We can find aquatic algae, and in aquatic algae there are also two types: marine algae and freshwater algae. But most of the algae, they are aquatic and terrestrial in nature, but most of them are aquatic in nature. And thallophytic. What do we mean by thallophytic? Plants है, we know that जो plants है, the plant is well differentiated or well developed into roots, leaves and stem. They are well developed into when जब हम लोग एक प्लांट देखते हैं, वो प्लांट को देखकर बता सकते हैं कि प्लांट का ये रूट है और लीव्स है और स्टेम है. So plants are well developed, but algae also a plant. They are also belongs to plant kingdom, but the algae is not well developed. Algae is not well developed or well differentiated. Algae is not well differentiated. तो इसका मतलब क्या है ना, जब हम लोग एक algae को नोटिस करते हैं, हम algae को देख के नहीं बता सकते हैं कि ये algae का रूट है, ये algae का लीफ है और ये algae का स्टेम है. हम लोग नहीं बता सकते algae को देखकर कि algae differentiated into root, stem and leaves. So they are just like a mass-like structure. And so due to this nature, as they are mass-like structure and not well differentiated, we cannot differentiate them structurally into roots, leaves, and stem. This is stem of algae. This is roots of algae, and these are the leaves of algae. So we define them as thallophytic structure. So thallophyta means here a mass-like structure, a mass-like structure which is not well differentiated into root, stem, and leaves. So algae are most of the algae are aquatic and thallophytic in nature. Another term used for algae are they are cryptogams. They are cryptogams. They are there's one scientist. His name is उनका नाम है A.W. Etzler. According to him, algae are cryptograms. We'll understand here. हम यहाँ पर समझेंगे what do we mean by phenerogams and what do we mean by cryptograms. One second. According to Etzler, he divided the plant kingdom into two groups. That is cryptograms, and another group is phanerogams. One group is cryptograms and another group is phanerograms. And he also divided the cryptograms into two parts, that is vascular cryptograms and non-vascular cryptograms. Cryptograms are all again divided into two groups, vascular and non-vascular. What do we mean by vascular and non-vascular? We know that there are many types of tissue like mechanical tissue, vascular tissue in plants. So vascular means those plants they have vascular tissue. Vascular tissue means xylem and phloem. जिन प्लांट्स के पास ये दोनों टिश्यू प्रेजेंट है, जाइलम भी प्रेजेंट है एंड फ्लोएम भी प्रेजेंट है, एंड दे आर नोन एज, उन प्लांट्स को हम वास्कुलर प्लांट्स बोलते हैं, क्योंकि ये जो दोनों टिश्यू है वास्कुलर टिश्यू बोला जाता है और उन प्लांट्स को हम वास्कुलर प्लांट्स बोलते हैं. सो cryptogams are divided into vascular cryptogams and non-vascular cryptogams. Non-vascular cryptogams means they don't have the vascular tissue. They don't have vascular tissue. And they are also of two types. One is algae and another is bryophytes. So non-vascular cryptogams mainly divided into two types. One is algae and another is bryophytes. In next videos, later we'll detail discuss about bryophytes also. But here हम लोग यहाँ पर algae के बारे में थोड़ा सा डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, जनरल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स के बारे में. एंड vascular cryptogams are mainly pteridophytes. Pteridophytes are considered as vascular cryptogams, and all phanerogams are vascular in nature. जितने सारे phanerogams है वो सारे vascular in nature. Vascular in nature means they have वो सारे प्लांट्स के पास क्या होता है, वास्कुलर टिश्यू प्रेजेंट होता है, यानी कि उनके पास जाइलम एंड फ्लोएम प्रेजेंट है. एंड दे आर मेनली डिवाइडेड इनटू टू ग्रुप्स आल्सो, लाइक जिम्नोस्पर्म्स and angiosperms. Gymnosperms and angiosperms. So, what do we mean by cryptogams and phanerogams? ये cryptogams का meaning क्या है और phanerogams का meaning क्या है? Cryptogams means those plants they don't have flower and seeds. जिन plants के पास flowers, जिन plants के पास flower, एक में क्या है flower and seeds absent है उनको हम बोलते हैं क्रिप्टोगाम्स. दोज प्लांट दे डोंट हैव फ्लावर्स एंड सीड्स. हम ऐसे बोल सकते हैं कि फ्लावरलेस एंड सीडलेस प्लांट्स आर नोन एज cryptogamous plants. Flowerless and seedless plants are known as cryptogamous plants. And in other concept, we can say that those plants they contain flowers and seeds are known as phanerogams. One is cryptogams, another is phanerogams. So, under cryptogams, there we divided vascular cryptogams, non-vascular cryptogams, and algae comes under non-vascular cryptogams. You all understood this concept, and the cryptogams they mainly reproduce via spores, and they have hidden sex organ. So question can arise, this is important for you. Cryptogams are mainly reproduced through spores and they have hidden sex organ. So here we discuss about different concepts related to algae. And algae are photosynthetic in nature. Photosynthetic means they can produce their own food. They can produce their own food by the process of photosynthesis. So they are also known as photosynthetic thallophytes. They are also known as photosynthetic thallophytes. Here we will discuss some other points, general characteristics about algae. The plant body is called as thallus due to lack of differentiation. मैं आप लोगों को ये ऑलरेडी समझा चुका हूँ कि क्यों हम algae को thallophytic बोलते हैं, क्योंकि there is lack of differentiation in root, stem and leaves. वो clearly not well developed. algae का जो बॉडी है वो नॉट वेल डेवलप्ड. हम algae को देखकर नहीं बता सकते कि ये algae का रूट है, ये algae का स्टेम है, ये algae का लीव्स है. सो वी कैन डिफरेंशिएट root, stem and leaves in algae. So they are halophytic in nature. And in next class, we will discuss different thallus organization. There are so many types of thallus organization in algae like unicellular thallus organization, multicellular thallus organization, unicellular colonial motile forms, siphonaceous forms, heterotrichous forms. Different forms of thallus organization are noticed. So in next video lecture we will डिस्कस, हम लोग उसके बारे में थोड़ा डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे थैलस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बारे में. आज हम थोड़ा सा जनरल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स के बारे में ही डिस्कस करेंगे. इट रेंजेस फ्रॉम ऑल algae ranges from unicellular motile to colonial motile. Either they are maybe unicellular. Unicellular means they are consist of a single cell. They consist of single cell, or they may be colonial motile. They may be colonial. They will form a colony like structure, and that colony will also motile in nature. Motile means they can move. They can move from one place to another place. Motile. Unicellular non-motile to unicellular non-motile colonial structure also, and filamentous structure also. Filamentous structure means the body is like filaments. The algal body is like filament. These are the two characteristics. Next characteristics, the algal body varies in size. They may be microscopic or they may be macroscopic. Microscopic or macroscopic. Microscopic means very small structure and macroscopic means very large structure or big structure. And the microscopic structure ranges in diameter 0.5 micrometer and macroscopic structure ranges up to 30 to 60 meter also. Some example are caves, macrocystis are the example of macroscopic algae and chlorella, chlamydomonas are the example of a microscopic algae. And then cell wall. Cell wall of algae mainly composed of cellulose. The main component of cell wall of algae is cellulose and not only cellulose, other components like pectin, chitin, lignin, minerals like calcium, silicons are also found in the cell wall of algae. But the main structure, main component of algal cell wall is the cellulose. And in some algae like in green algae, the cell wall mainly consists of cellulose. But the another component seen in green algae is pectose. Pectose is the another component seen in green algae. And in brown algae, the main component is cellulose, and instead of main component is cellulose, and the second component is algin, algin, uh, algin, and in red algae, the main component is again cellulose. And with cellulose, we can find some other components like picoidin and some other materials like carrageen also found in red algae. And next point is some algae are non-motile and some algae are motile in nature. Some are motile and some are non-motile. The motile algae, the movement of algae is due to flagella. Flagella, the flagella present in algae, जो flagella होता है algae में, वो movement में help करता है. Due to the presence of flagella, uh, those algae are known as motile algae. And the flagella is of different types. The flagella may be whiplash type, whiplash type. Whiplash type means it's smooth, or it may be the flagella may be tinsel type. Tinsel type means it's like the feather of birds. Tinsel type means feather of like the feathery structure, feather of birds. पंछियों के पर जैसा होता है उस टाइप के फ्लाजेला को हम tinsel type flagella कहते हैं. All eukaryotic cell is distinguished into cytoplasm and nucleus because we know that inside the cell of eukaryotic cell there is presence of a protoplasm, and protoplasm is again divided into two types, cytoplasm and nucleoplasm. So eukaryotic cell distinguished into cytoplasm and nucleus, a well developed nucleus. As the algal cell is eukaryotic in nature, we can see a uh, distinct nucleus, well developed nucleus inside the cell of algae. Cellular organelles also found in the cytoplasm. Cellular organelles means different organellar structure like mitochondria, chloroplast, and other structures are also found in the cytoplasm of algae. Non-membrane bound structure, pyrenoids are present in chloroplast. This is one important point for your exams. From exam point of view, it is very important. The structure pyrimide is very important. It is like a storage body present in the chloroplast. पायरिनाइड जो होता है ना वो क्लोरोप्लास्ट के अंदर स्टोरेज का फंक्शन करता है और इसका जो स्ट्रक्चर है पायरिनाइड का जो स्ट्रक्चर है इट इज मेनली द सेंट्रल पार्ट इज प्रोटीनासियस इन नेचर। जो पायरिनाइड होता है उसका सेंट्रल पार्ट जो होता है ये किस टाइप का होता है प्रोटीनासियस प्रोटीन से इट इज कंसिस्ट ऑफ प्रोटीन्स and the peripheral part the protein is also surrounded by a structure and this is mainly consist of carbohydrate. It is mainly consist of कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स। सो आप लोग इसको नोट कीजिए जो पायरिनाइड है ये इंपॉर्टेंट है एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से क्योंकि इसका जो सेंटर है ये प्रोटीन से गढ़ा हुआ है और जो प्रोटीन को सराउंड होके स्ट्रक्चर है जिसका मेन कंपोनेंट कार्बोहाइड्रेट है। सो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू। नेक्स्ट कैरेक्टर इज single algae are photosynthetic. Since algae are photosynthetic, they contain different pigments such as chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, scanthophyls, beta carotene. And scanthophyls are various types like myxoscanthine and myxoscanthophyls in myxophyceae and phycobilins in rhodophyceae. These are the आज वी नो दैट हमको पता है कि जो algae है they are photosynthetic, they can prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis, so they contain different type of pigments and when we will study about the cell structure of algae we will discuss about the plastids present in the cytoplasm of algae and there we will discuss about the structure of chloroplast, different types of chlorophylls present in algae and the main chlorophylls present in algae are chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. All forms of algae, all groups of algae, either they are green algae, either they are brown algae, either they are red algae, they all contain chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. They also some algae also except chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B, they also contain scanthophyls, beta carotene and other chlorophylls. And scanthophyls are of various types, myxoscanthine, myxoscanthophyls. We can notice myxoscanthine and myxoscanthophyls in myxophyceae and phycobilins in rhodophyceae. The reserve food material, we know that in all organisms food is stored. जैसे कि हमारे एनिमल के शरीर जो ह्यूमन्स है उनके अंदर जो फूड है वो स्टोर कैसे होता है आइदर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ ग्लाइकोजन और इन द फॉर्म ऑफ फैट और इन द फॉर्म ऑफ प्रोटीन but in algae the reserve food material is mainly starch. This is important. In algae the food is mainly stored in the form of starch and they in some algae the food may be stored in the form of either fats or oil, either fat or oil. But the main reserve food material in algae, this is important. It will come in question. It is very important. In the form of starch. algae में जो फूड स्टोर होता है मेनली स्टार्च की फॉर्म में होता है बट कुछ कुछ algae में either the food is stored in the form of fat or in the form of oil. And the starch that is stored in algae, जो स्टार्च स्टोरेज होता है वो स्टार्च भी डिफरेंट टाइप का स्टार्च होता है जैसे कि if we will consider chlorophyceae, if we will consider chlorophyceae, note all these things. आप लोग ना मैं जब कुछ लिखता हूं यहाँ पर आप लोग उसको नोट कीजिए ये सारे पीपीटी इंपोर्टेंट है मेन पॉइंट ही मैं यहाँ पर डिस्कशन करता हूँ और ये एग्जाम में आता है बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन Arsa, every year you can notice question from these points also. And जो क्लोरोफाइस है वो क्लोरोफाइसी में जो ग्रीन एल्जी, क्लोरोफाइसी मीन्स ग्रीन एल्जी, उनके बॉडी में जो स्टोरेज फूड मटेरियल है वो किस फॉर्म में स्टोर होता है? स्टार्च के फॉर्म में. बट इन ब्राउन एल्जी मीन्स फाइओफाइसी, ब्राउन algae, the main reserve food material or store food material is in the form of laminarin or mannitol. Is in the form of what? Laminarin और मानिटल. ये जो दोनों है लामिनारिन और मानिटल है, एक फॉर्म होता है स्टार्च का, एंड दीज आर नोन एज अल्कोहलिक शुगर. alcoholic sugar. And in red algae, जो हमारा रेड algae रोडोफाइसी है, उसमें जो स्टार्च स्टोरेज होता है वो भी एक डिफरेंट फॉर्म में स्टोर होता है, जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं फ्लोरिडेन स्टार्च. यू शुड नोट ऑल दीज थिंग्स. क्या मैंने बताया, यहाँ पर जो क्लोरोफाइस है उनके अंदर जो फूड स्टोर होता है वो नॉर्मल स्टार्च के टाइप में स्टोर होता है. बट इन ब्राउन algae the starch is converted, different type of starch is stored, that is known as laminarin or mannitol. And in red algae, that is the stored food material is Floridian starch. The stored food material is Floridian starch. And in some other groups of algae like Bacillariophyces, Canthophyces, Dinophyces, मैंने यहाँ पर बताया ना, in some other groups, fat and oils are act as stored food materials. Fats and oil जो होता है ना, वो किस किस ग्रुप में स्टोर होता है? Like Bacillariophyces, like Bacillariophyces, Dinophyces, डिनोफाइसी. ये जो दोनों ग्रुप है बासिलरियोफाइसी, डिनोफाइसी, ऑल्सो इन स्कैंथोफाइसी. Also in Scanthophyces, the stored food material is mainly either fat or oils. Different types of oils, they are stored as reserve food materials. Then we will discuss about the reproduction. We will take a special class for different type of reproduction. जो different type का reproduction होता है उनके बारे में डिटेल्स में डिस्कस करेंगे और एक क्लास में. बट यहाँ पर जो जनरली मैं बता रहा हूँ, algae में तीन तरीके से three types of reproduction seen in algae, that is vegetative reproduction, asexual reproduction, sexual reproduction. Vegetative reproduction mainly occur through the process like fission, fragmentation. Asexual reproduction, the asexual method of reproduction mainly occur through spores like zoospores, aplanospores, synzospores, hypnospores, autospores, cyst. These are different type of spores. When in some next lecture video, we will discuss in detail about the different type of spores, different type of reproduction and their process. We will discuss in details. And the sexual reproduction occur in three ways. That is the isogamous reproduction, anisogamous reproduction, oogamous reproduction. And these are very important. We will discuss what is isogamous reproduction, what is anisogamous reproduction, what is oogamous type of reproduction. And then the next general characteristics we are going to discuss is the life cycle of algae. Algae mainly show three types of life cycle, that is haploentic life cycle, diploentic life cycle, and a diploentic life cycle. Three types of life cycle, that is haploentic life cycle, diploentic life cycle, and haplodiploentic life cycle. We will discuss again in another video lecture about all these three types of लाइफ साइकिल। ये जो तीन टाइप का लाइफ साइकिल है ना, इसको हम लोग डिटेल्स में स्टडी करेंगे। क्या हैप्लॉइड टाइप हैप्लोइंटिक लाइफ साइकिल क्या होता है, डिप्लोइंटिक लाइफ साइकिल क्या होता है, हैप्लोडिप्लोइंटिक लाइफ साइकिल क्या होता है, ये डिस्कस में हम डिटेल्स में डिस्कस करेंगे। उसके बाद क्या आता है ना, एक स्टेज है, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट ऑल्सो, the triphasic type of life cycle. Very important, you should note all these things, and you should mark for all important things, because you will see question from these parts in your exam. जो लोग प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन करने के लिए, आइदर इन सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटीज और इन स्टेट यूनिवर्सिटीज, उनके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। जो लोग बीएससी भी कर रहे हैं, बैचलर ऑफ साइंस इन बॉटनी, उनके लिए भी जो फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर में ये आता है, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो ये जो ट्राइपेजिक लाइफ साइकिल है, ये मेनली सीन इन रोडोफाइसी। रोडोफाइसी मीन्स रेड एल्गी। जो हमारा रेड एल्गी होता है ना, उनमें ही इस टाइप का लाइफ साइकिल दिखाई देता है। एंड व्हाई वी कॉल इट as triphasic life cycle, because due to the presence of two dominant haploid stage or two dominant diploid stage, ये जो लाइफ साइकिल होता है, इसमें दो डोमिनेंट haploid स्टेज होता है और टू डोमिनेंट डिप्लॉइड स्टेज होता है। When we'll discuss about the life cycle, there we'll discuss what is haploid stage, what is diploid stage, all these we'll discuss in details. Now, thank you. आप लोगों को अगर मेरा वीडियो पसंद आया तो हमारे चैनल को लाइक कीजिए, सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और ज्यादा से ज्यादा शेयर कीजिए, अपने दोस्त को भी बताइए, और हमारे साथ अगले वीडियो में जुड़े रहिए। थैंक यू ऑल ऑफ यू।